One of Nottingham Forest's analysts appeared to be shouting his way to an eviction from the Etihad Stadium in the final seconds, screaming at the referee for allowing 8 minutes of a 7-minute stoppage time to elapse, coming to an incredulous crescendo when Murillo somehow stopped Savino from scoring one of those last-gasp, drama-filled goals that ignite, and potentially define, title races. 2 words, the second off, hurled at Darren England again and again in crazed fashion. Stern security staff came over to deal with him. At one point, he seemed to be losing breath, much like thousands in here of a Manchester City persuasion, howling at the moon as air left their lungs. Not a night that will determine who lifts this Premier League crown, because City and Arsenal are going to drop more points before May is out, but one that signals a clear favourite. Pep Guardiola's squad had wrestled this back into their own hands, only to fumble the ball. What they ought to do when looking back on this draw, one memorable for the quality of goals scored by 2 Forest midfielders in Morgan Gibbs-White and Elliot Anderson, whose pasts and futures are linked to City, is to remember what happened in the East Midlands just after Christmas. A late City winner and throwing themselves at everything in preserving victory at Forest, it felt like a juggernaut was beginning to chug. Arsenal were there to be hunted down. City's celebrations with the away end that day spoke to a team who were ready to start motoring. But what followed in the coming weeks, 3 consecutive draws and defeat at Old Trafford, made a mockery of that. As that win feeling huge was not indicative of what might follow, a crushing draw here doesn't mean it is all over either. Whether that is something City can realize in the immediate aftermath is another thing altogether. Still 9 games to go, Guardiola said. In general it was a good performance. All together, we will lift each other, as always we've done. Today it's not necessary to talk to them. In the weeds of this result were refereeing calls. England and VAR turned down penalty shouts after Erling Haaland was felled by Matt Sells when City led 2-1, with Anderson also clattering Rodri too. Erling's is a penalty, Bernardo Silva said. All the 50-50s have gone against us. What can Erling do? This season we are used to it, we know how it works. Guardiola wouldn't be drawn, and one major positive he can take is the continued form of Antoine Semenyo, a man who has played in every division, dipped into non-league with Bath City, and is showing a purity to how he attacks these games. Smile beaming, full-blooded, blessed to be having a major impact on a club he joined less than 2 months ago. It is now 5 goals in 8 league games since leaving Bournemouth for £62.5 million, and were City to claw Arsenal all the way in, the 26-year-old will have had a significant bearing on that eventuality. 7 goals in all competitions, and 6 of those have come within the width of the posts. 3 inside the 6-yard box. Another poacher. Although there is much work for Guardiola to do with him in tight spaces, his speed frightens markers and his finishing downs them. Possessing that combination does him no harm. The 31st-minute goal, a memorable volley for its definite execution, was made to look far more comfortable than it first appeared. Semenyo swiveled his body perfectly to meet Ryan Cherkis' cross with authority. City were never truly sure of themselves though. Phil Foden was guilty of giving too much ball away in Forest's third, and from one of those moments, the visitors equalized. Ola Aina's huge run up the right, storming forward, saw him clip to the far post, and Igor Jesus kept the move alive, nodding back towards Gibbs-White, who brilliantly backheeled. "He's a special player," said Vitor Pereira upon recording his first point as Forest boss. "A lot of quality. He smelt the space and opportunity. He's a brilliant leader. Gibbs White believed he was joining City this time last year, and the second equaliser came from somebody who might make the move this summer after the World Cup. Anderson, the England midfielder, manufactured space for himself by completing a 1-2 with Callum Hudson-Odoi and from 25 yards out, bent into the far corner, proving, as if that were needed, why everybody wants him. That sank City, who had earlier been buoyed by a rare goal from a corner. Not necessarily Guardiola's favourite pastime, and City's numbers are average from corners this season, but one from the foot of Ryan Ait-Nouri opened the game back up for City. Haaland crowded cells just as the delivery came in, bouncing away from that area to allow Rodri to attack the cross. Forrest scrambled on the line, yet Rodri's will forced it over, his first league goal in 2 years. Not enough to grind out a fifth win on the spin. Whether they like it or not, the pressure is now on City to bite back.